And now for, funny enough, the one thing that I was dying to talk about in today's video.
Whoa!
I really am.
Yeah.
I really am dying to talk about this because this is...
Oh, that's such a cool picture, Ness.
Yeah, that was like the first one that happened when I Googled. Or wait, was it? I forget. Anyway. So this is not about the Rathai Basin Comp Stomp. Not really.
Okay.
Now, that said, I should cover the actual bit of news. The actual bit of news is the Rathai Basin Comp Stomp is back. Now, the Comp Stomp is the one where basically they unleashed Island Expedition AI on a Rathai Basin. And, yeah, there you go. It's, it's a bit of bounce. It's a bit of bounce. It's different for, I think, a lot of PvE players who are very, very terrified of PvP. Because, look, if you're a PvE player and, you're sitting there basically playing a very solved game that is, it's planned reactions in so much of PvE, right? Like, you know what the boss is going to do. You know the boss is following its AI patterns and stuff like that. It's sort of a little decision chart or, its timings, whatever way the boss is implemented.
Unless you're in Stone Legion Generals, in which case...
Me and Matt had a great time at Stone Legion Generals.
I think everyone else did.
Yeah, no, I get sometimes duds just happen. Sometimes, the design of a fight or the implementation is just a total technical bastard and whatever. Fair enough. I'm not gonna blast them on that one. But yeah, so the Comp Stomp's returning. I think this is an awesome one for PvE players who want to get a bit of a PvP vibe. And it's like, you might be like, oh, so what? You're advocating for a safe space for PvEers and PvP? You know what? If it's fun content, yeah, actually I am. I am. Because what's wrong with a PvE player hopping into a Rathai Basin and having some bants? Is because this is a pretty fun one. But what's funny to me is this must have been broken. I was not abreast of this, but this has been gone from the game for a year.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it was... I don't know if it was broken, but I'm pretty sure it was... let's say it was... I believe it was overvalued comparatively to other brawls because you could kind of wreck them and farm it. As far as I remember, because I remember doing a little bit of that and being like, "This is kind of cool." It was around the time, I think was it the end of BFA? Must have been around the end of BFA where it was like, "Here's," because I was actively playing at the time, and it was all like, "Do you want to farm your honor levels?" That's what it was. I think people were spamming it for honor for the essence, for blood of the enemy. That's what it was. That's what it was.
So basically, Comp Stomp is coming back. It's coming back. And they've got an updated rotation. Comp Stomp, August 10th to 17th. Deep Wind Dunk, 17th to 24th of August. Shadowpan Showdown, 24th to 31st. Stakor actually did say here, one could assume that the date of August 10th marks the latest date the patch could go live. Oh, you funny man. It won't be August, don't worry. At this stage, I really don't think it will be. The reason I bring this up, right? Brawls are awesome.
Yeah, I like them.
PvP brawls are fucking awesome. I don't know if they were Halinka's idea, but I think I remember Halinka announcing them or something. And all I can say is they are great. They're fun. So fun. They are inventive. And you know what they remind me of? Being a Halo player as a kid. Yeah. Because, so the way it would go in Halo, right? You would have your traditional game modes. Slayer, CTF, your sweaty game modes. Where you're there to, your 14-year-old or 15-year-old, group of 15-year-olds number one, you're going to defeat that group of 15-year-olds over there. You're going to trash talk each other and it's going to be great. Sweaty Halo, we're all trying to be competitive.
Lots of mothers will have interesting evenings.
Yeah, hearing their kids. Sure, there was one of my friends actually playing Halo. I won't name drop him, that's a bit wrong. But, oh my God, he actually would go into spontaneous rap. Wow. Yes, I remember. I think he had a whole freestyle rap that started with "Owned to the Bone."
Nice.
So that was deeply embarrassing, and he'd have the most shrill scream in the universe, and he would scream. I could imagine like just half a Coleraine rumbling as he did that over there. But one thing you do in Halo, right, when you're moving away from your sort of sweaty, stressful game mode, is you would hop on to something a bit different. Some of the mosh pit playlists. So you'd have these playlists in Halo that would be a selection of, Griff Ball. That one where you get the skull. Some of the, crazy, wacky modes that Halo would have. That was what I loved so much about Halo, the zombie infected mode, all that stuff. It was so cool. But you could just grab those, or somebody saying grab hammer tag in Halo was fun. Yes, it was. So you'd have all that stuff. And that would all be in a playlist. And that would mean is you could just hop on that playlist and you and your mates just guaranteed about 3 or 4 hours of varied wacky hijinks. These brawls are great. But right now, the structure of the brawls, it's either comp stomp, so you will farm it for resources, or it is something like, with some of the other ones where, you're not going to farm them, but you are going to do the weekly. What I would advocate here is adding a playlist. I would actually like Blizzard to take a selection of brawls and add them to an always playable playlist so that you could just go play some brawls in the same way that you'd maybe go into like a mosh pit or, one of those mixed big team battle playlists in Halo where, it would just be all the crazy shit.
Yeah.
Because I think this is a really fun form of content. I think this is a form of content that for your not traditional PvP audience is just fun and different. It's a real, genuine, just shaking up of the formula. I think it's really cool. So for a lot of those people, do they want to go and do the deep wind dunk 7 times in a row? No.
No, I can't imagine it. Like,
do you want to play the same map and game mode of Halo 7 or 8 times in a row? Maybe you do, but if you're in that playlist, you probably don't. You just kind of want to sign up for some mixed, varied fun. And, the likes of Comp Stomp could exist more if they were just sitting there available in a playlist in a way where, it wasn't just an always spamming thing, but if it did pop in the playlist, you'd be really happy that it did. So that's basically what I'm saying here.
Yeah, I mean, I actually have an example for people who are a little bit more, let's say a little bit more consumer inclined in their age and their play stuff. I remember, and this kind of fits perfectly because BGs in WoW are just a PvP. It's competitive PvP. You can have some fun, but you're expected to play within the realms of this is a competitive game. Do your best, play by standard stuff. You can't really piss about. And it was largely the same in League of Legends. You go into Summoner's Rift, even if you go into like casual stuff, even if you don't go into ranked or max level normal, you're still expected to show up and play League of Legends by the community defined and I guess later actual developer defined rule set. But then there's Howling Abyss or any of the rotating game modes I had. The rotating game modes, obviously they rotated instead of a playlist, so they were largely similar to this. But the amount of people I know who would like just play a couple Summoner's Rift and be like, I really want to play League of Legends, but I'm not going into that pit again. I'm not going into that like hellfire of ranked again.
Yeah.
I'm going to play Howling Abyss. And then they were just having a laugh, got randomed an awful champion, made the most of it, had fun. And I guess it's that kind of thing of, like, it's almost the same with the idea of having more casual content more in general.
Yeah.
It's just more variety because people don't want to do the same thing over and over again. Let them go do something else that they enjoy.
Honor levels, are they still in the, they're in the game, but are they really updated or added to in terms of new rewards and stuff?
I don't believe so.
Yeah. So, I mean, number one, what? Why? Number two, Renown Bar, boring and shitty because it's wearing the mask of a battle pass or a, leveling progression system, but it's just a time gate.
Yeah.
Something similar could work really well, though, in PvP. Actually just properly codify aspects of this. Because, look, if we're just going to accept that a bit of the WoW experience at endgame is just very instant content focused, if that is the way the wind is blowing, maybe we should just accept that. And after accepting that, we then think, how can we make this the best that it possibly can be? And I am thinking, imagine if you have something like that prestige, PvP leveling system with, just more rewards, more ways to earn, honor, to move along that reward system, more mounts, more cool stuff. And then you give people this really nice, just casual banter with your friends, friendly playlist, like with these brawls, then suddenly you're opening that experience up. And I think that'll be awesome. So really, the reason why I decided to cover this in today's show is just to say, why not put these as a playlist and put a bit more work into them, because I think that these brawls are awesome. I think these brawls are where you see the incredible creativity of the World of Warcraft PvP team. You see interesting, varied ideas. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't work, but that's part of the fun.
Yeah,
we're trying new and different things. We're learning things. And it's just that thing, it's like these brawls were added into the game, but that was just it. They kind of just kept on going. but they never really were advanced or I think made good on. You know, I saw it as like, oh, the first stage of the experiment has been kicked off with these brawls entering the game, but now I'm thinking, where is the rest? And with Comp Stomp coming back and just thinking about this again, man, I think there's so much potential for what is currently a great feature. I think it could be an incredible feature that's really fun. So there you go. That's my point. I've done it. What do you think?
I mostly agree. I think one of the more important things is the sheer idea of it as a gateway to PvP, especially if it's more interesting and less defined by rules. Because there's nothing more, especially for people who PvE their entire life, I can imagine there's nothing more terrifying than going into a BG and people screaming a load of acronyms and like shorthand and orders, and you're like, well, I don't know what's going on. There's no like smoothing in because you're in a max level PvP with everyone else. Yeah. So obviously there's a lot of things you can do to learn that, but if you're just going in, and I know obviously battlegrounds don't matter if they're not rated, but it does to the player experience. It matters.
I think they should because they're fun. They're fun.
Yeah, but like
also let's give a solo, as we covered in the last live stream, solo queue RBGs. That could work, I think, way more plausibly than solo queue arenas.
Yeah. So if you fail in a BG, it feels bad, but in a brawl, it feels less bad because it's more chaotic. It's more it's just more bullshit going on. So I feel like that would be a really good actual gateway for people into PvPing more properly, especially if brawls are a good way to get like a little bit of honor, maybe a lot of honor to catch up, and then you've got people doing, you know, do this then into BGs, then into rated BGs and arena, and look at that, you've got a smoother pathway rather than you've hit endgame, jump into the death pit with everyone else.
Yeah,
for the players that doesn't suit, brawls could be a way to actually throw it back in.
Yeah, totally could. So there's an idea. I think it would be something that would be really good for the game. So awesome.